It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Zahir, Kelvin and Abdullah. The top stories: 2024 SPM posts best results since 2013, with more students scoring straight A's. Malaysia to review IMF's downgrade of 2025 GDP forecast to 4.1%. Good morning. This year's Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia results have recorded the best performance since 2013, with a total of 14,179 candidates scoring straight A's in the 2024 SPM examination, surpassing the 11,713 students who achieved the same feat in 2013. The national average grade GPN also improved to 4.49 compared to 4.60 last year, indicating better overall academic performance. Nearly 400,000 students received their results this morning, either at their respective schools or via online platforms, starting at 10 a.m. This year's outcome is especially encouraging given that it reflects improvements since mandatory pass requirements for Bahasa Melayu and History were introduced.
Kejayaan ini adalah didorong daripada beberapa faktor. Pertamanya ialah usaha-usaha berkaitan dengan pendekatan pengajaran dan pembelajaran yang lebih strategik yang sentiasa kita usahakan dari masa ke semasa sepanjang tahun 2024.
More than 86,000 candidates achieved at least a grade C or credit in all subjects, while over 136,000 students, or 36%, passed all subjects. In another positive trend, the number of absentees candidates dropped to just over 6,200 compared to more than 8,000 in 2013. In total, 94% of candidates, or 355,933 students, qualified to receive their official SPM certificate this year. The 2024 SPM results rank among the best in the examination's history, reflecting the rising quality of the nation's education system. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said her ministry will continue implementing key initiatives that have contributed to this improvement, with a focus on enhancing performance through targeted segments.
Kehadiran untuk peperiksaan. Jadi kehadiran ini antara yang saya fikir cukup signifikan kerana intervensi yang kita lakukan telah dapat mengurangkan sikit sebanyak. Kemudian langkah-langkah yang terkait rapat dengan jurang, luar bandar dan bandar, ini juga dapat dilihat secara signifikan dan ini yang kita akan terus pertingkatkan.
She was speaking to the media at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Convent Kajang in Selangor on Thursday. Fadlina also expressed hope that the improvement in performance will inspire teachers to continue focusing on quality classroom instruction and address segments that still require support. Meanwhile, academic Nazer Ahmed believes that the excellent results achieved by candidates in the examinations were driven by a combination of resources, curriculum, dedicated teachers, and the students themselves.
The initiatives by the Ministry of Education also contribute to better SPM academic achievements, like providing better resources, encouraging technology and innovative teaching and learning, of course, revision of the curriculum to international standards and catering to students' learning styles, as well as providing professional development trainings for teachers to improve and to ensure effective and quality teaching and learning.
The government has assured the public that no double standards will be applied following a mistake in an illustration of the Jalur Gemilang printed in the Education Ministry's SPM Results Analysis Report. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said investigations will be carried out regardless of the parties involved, be it the local media, international companies or government agencies. Earlier, the Education Ministry apologized for a mistake in the design of the national flag in its SPM results analysis report. The ministry said a thorough investigation was ongoing and admitted that the mistake was unacceptable. Senior Press Secretary Tunku Nasrul Abaidah said any content involving national symbols or public sensitivities must undergo a thorough review to ensure respect and shared responsibility.
Prinsip keadilan dan hormat kepada simbol negara mesti ditegakkan oleh semua tanpa pengecualian. Dan semua pihak perlu lebih peka dan berhati-hati dalam soal penerbitan bahan berkaitan simbol ataupun maruah negara.
According to Tunku Nasrul, Anwar stressed that the use of artificial intelligence requires accountability. The Prime Minister welcomes innovation in technology, including the growing use of AI across various sectors such as media, education and business. However, he emphasizes that AI cannot replace editorial responsibility and quality control by humans. In another development, Anwar said Bank Negara Malaysia and the Treasury Department will review the International Monetary Fund IMF's latest assessment on Malaysia's real gross domestic product GDP as reported in the April 2025 World Economic Outlook. The Prime Minister stated that a complete statement will be delivered during the special parliamentary sitting on May 5th. Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, said the review of real GDP is not limited to Malaysia but part of a broader global reassessment.
We, Bank Negara and the Treasury, will now relook at it and review. I will announce, I will give a complete statement in Parliament on the 5th of May.
The Prime Minister spoke to the media after attending the Royal Malaysian Custom Department's Hari Raya celebration in Putrajaya on Thursday. A day earlier, the IMF, in its April 2025 World Economic Outlook, downgraded Malaysia's real GDP growth forecast for 2025 to 4.1% from its January estimate of 4.7%. The revision aligns with a broader downward adjustment in regional economic projections. The IMF also forecast Malaysia's real GDP to expand by 3.8% in 2026. Besides Malaysia, the IMF trimmed its global growth projection for 2025 to 2.8%, a reduction of 0.5 percentage points from its January forecast. Among Malaysia's regional peers, Indonesia's 2025 growth outlook was lowered to 4.7% from 5.1%, while the Philippines is now projected to grow by 5.5% compared to an earlier estimate of 6.1%. Thailand's growth forecast was also revised downwards to 1.8% from 2.9%. Former Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Ramli Ngatalib has been appointed as the 9th Yang Dipertua Negeri of Pulau Pinang effective May 1st. Ramli received the instrument of appointment from Yang Dipertuan Agong His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim during the presentation of the instrument of appointment ceremony at Dewan Sigasana Kecil Istana Negara in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. Ramli, aged 84, was also conferred the Sri Maharaja Mangku Negara Award, which carries the title Tun. The appointment was made in accordance with the state's constitution for a term of 4 years. He takes over from Tun Ahmad Fuzi Abdul Razak, who has held the post since May 1st, 2021. The ceremony was also attended by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Pulau Pinang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow. Ramli previously held several key positions at both federal and state levels, including serving as the 8th Perak Menteri Besar from 1982 to 1999. Former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismal Sabri Yaakob spent nearly 7 hours at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC headquarters in Putrajaya on Thursday, assisting with an ongoing investigation. The Beara Member of Parliament was called in to provide a statement in relation to his asset declaration under Section 36, subsection 1 of the MACC Act 2009. He arrived at the MACC headquarters at approximately 11 a.m. This marks the 8th time he has been summoned by the Commission for questioning. After about 7 hours, the vehicle ferrying Ismal was seen leaving the MACC premises at around 6:10 p.m. Sources say the session will continue on Friday afternoon. On March 3rd, the MACC confirmed that the former Prime Minister was a suspect in an investigation involving corruption and money laundering linked to the funding and procurement of promotional activities under the Keluarga Malaysia initiative. The investigation follows the discovery of approximately 170 million ringgit in cash in various foreign currencies alongside 16 kilograms of gold bars during a raid on a safe house. To date, 33 individuals have had their statements recorded to assist with the probe. 600 body-worn cameras will soon be issued to the Immigration Department officers in a move to boost integrity within the department. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismal said the procurement of the equipment will take place this Monday.
Saya minta Datuk KSU segerakan dan perolehan akan berlaku pada 28 hari bulan ni untuk kita sediakan segera.
The initiative follows a directive issued by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Meanwhile, starting June, the government will begin replacing most manual immigration counters at international airports with autogate systems to streamline immigration clearance at the country's borders. The measures are part of a continuous effort to improve public service delivery and strengthen public confidence in enforcement agencies.
Kita minta dalam perjanjian itu mestilah ada kata persetujuan bersama.
Isu Kampung Sungai Baru, yang mana fakta, yang mana auta.
Kami tidak menolak pembangunan. Pembangunan itu biarlah buat pembangunan yang lestari.
Apakah penyelesaiannya? Saksikan secara eksklusif dalam podcast utama Buletin TV3 bersama Ahli Parlimen Titiwangsa Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani di semua platform media sosial Buletin TV3 dan saluran Radio Cool 101.
The Malaysian Timber Industry Board, MTIB, has warned that companies failing to comply with timber export regulations risk having their licenses revoked. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani revealed that several industry players have been found manipulating transactions related to overseas exports.
Dia tak boleh ambil barang yang dah siap masuk dalam kontainer sampai dekat port, tukar certificate origin export kepada orang, tak boleh. So kita nak pastikan bahawa semua industry player kena comply dengan kita punya requirement. Certificate origin tidak boleh dikeluarkan sewenang-wenangnya kalau dia tidak ada value added yang kita create daripada produk tersebut.
He stressed that only raw materials are allowed to be imported for domestic processing. Final products must undergo at least 60% local value-added content before qualifying for export status. The government is also focusing on enhancing the quality of Malaysian timber exports to remain competitive despite increasing tariff pressures from the United States. MTIB now issues timber export permits valid for 60 days per shipment. Rev Media Group Chief Operating Officer Nicholas Sagau has been appointed as the new president of the Malaysian Digital Association for the 2025-2026 term. The association shared its key leadership updates for the 2025-2026 term, reinforcing its commitment to keeping pace with the rapidly changing digital media and marketing landscape driven by artificial intelligence, AI's arrival, and shifting global economic and geopolitical factors impacting digital businesses. The appointment came following the recent promotion of the association's former president, Eileen Ooi, to PhD Asia Pacific Chief Executive Officer. The newly appointed president said the digital landscape is at a critical juncture, with AI set to disrupt the ecosystem like previous technologies have reshaped the digital world. He added that it is now more crucial than ever for MDA to act as a facilitator, driving collaboration and innovation. China said on Thursday any claims of ongoing trade talks with Washington were groundless after US President Donald Trump played up the prospects of a deal to lower hefty tariffs he imposed on Beijing. Speaking to the media, Chinese Commerce Ministry spokesman He Yadong urged Washington to correct its wrong practices, demonstrate sincerity for talks, and return to the correct path of equal dialogue and consultation. He added that the US should remove all unilateral tariff measures against China if it truly wanted to solve the trade issue. On Wednesday, Trump said his country would have a fair deal with China, adding that there is direct US contact with Beijing on trade. The world's two leading economies are locked in an escalating tit-for-tat trade battle triggered by Trump's new levies on Chinese goods, which have reached 145% on many products. Beijing has responded with new 125% duties on imports from Washington. The tariff blitz has rattled markets and raised fears of a global recession. Zayn Rayyan neglect case decision due in July. This and more from the local front after this breather.
Kita nak pop, 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 meriah satu kampung pop, pop, pop. Kita kasih Rio sampai besok. Kasih pop, pop, raya pop, pop, pop.
Kalau kita sama-sama, tak ada siapa berani hadap kita.
Aku, guys.
Habis suruh aku apa?
Macam nak tengok video penuh, saksikan video muzik Raya Pop Pop di Tonton. Pop Pop. Hai Pop.
Setiap pukulan adalah penentuan.
천재의 등장은 세상을 바꾸죠.
Sejauh mana dia berlari, realiti tetap menanti.
왜 숨어 살았는지!
위험한 권총 때문에 죽었어요!
Mampukah kemenangan terakhir membebaskannya?
무슨 말들이 아니야. 할 수 있는 걸 쏟아놓고 가야.
My Lovely Boxer, Rabu hingga Jumaat 11 malam. Syoknya berke-drama di Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Kuih Raya aneka rasa, surat cerita ramah, meriah suasana. Cinta sesungguhnya.
Awak ni sama macam lukisan-lukisan awak.
Cuba awak jangan pandang pada kekecewaan.
Sakana.
Abang, tolong nenek tu datang balik, bang.
Kau guna bomo sebab kau cemburu.
Derai.
Dia dekat dengan aku.
Kenapa? Nak buat apa?
Kau jangan sampai aku jerit dekat sini.
Indahkan memori Syawal di Cerita Ramah TV3 setiap Sabtu 10 malam dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. In Selangor, the Petaling Jaya Sessions Court set July 21st to decide whether the parents of Zayn Rayyan will be acquitted or ordered to enter their defence on charges of child neglect. Judge Shaliza Warno set the date after the prosecution informed the court that the prosecution would not be calling any further witnesses. If the court finds that the prosecution has established a prima facie case, the couple, Zayn Ikhwan Zahari and Ismal Manira Abdul Manaf, both aged 30, will be called to enter their defence. The prosecution closed its case after calling 28 witnesses over the course of the 20-day trial, which began on February 4th. The prosecution had offered a list of 23 witnesses to the defence in the event both the accused are ordered to enter their defence. On March 13, Zayn and Ismal claimed trial to a jointly amended charge of child neglect. The decision on Muam Member of Parliament Syed Saddiq Abdul Rahman's appeal to overturn his conviction and sentence related to abetting criminal breach of trust, misappropriation of property and money laundering charges will be known on June 25th. Deputy Public Prosecutor Dato' Wan Shahruddin Wan Ladin said the Court of Appeal set the date on Thursday to deliver its verdict. Previously, a panel of 3 judges led by Dato' Ahmad Zaidi Ibrahim allocated 3 days to hear submissions from both the prosecution and defence regarding Syed Saddiq's appeal. On November 9, 2023, the Kuala Lumpur High Court sentenced the 33-year-old to 7 years in prison and 2 strokes of the rotan after being found guilty of multiple charges, including abetting CBT, misappropriation of property and money laundering. In Negeri Sembilan, a family of 5 was charged in the Seremban Sessions Court on Thursday with abetting a 16-year-old girl and demanding a ransom of 2 million ringgit. However, all 5 pleaded not guilty when the charges were read before Judge Datin Surita Budin. The accused were 31-year-old D. Sasvina, her husband, 32-year-old T. Boharaj, her stepbrother, 23-year-old Farihin Muhammad Arifin, and 2 younger siblings, P.K. Koshen Kumar and P.K. C.V. Shina, both aged 21. They allegedly abducted the teenager with the intention of demanding a ransom. The offence was allegedly committed in front of a hair salon in Seremban 2 on April 10th. They were charged under the Kidnapping Act 1961, read together with the Penal Code. The teenager's family paid 280,000 ringgit and jewellery to the suspects before the victim was released in Sendayan on April 11. On April 14, one of the suspects was shot dead in Klang, Selangor. The court set May 14 for the next case mentioned. South Korea's ex-president indicted for bribery. The details when Nightline returns.
Kita nak pop, 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 meriah satu kampung pop, pop, pop. Kita kasih Rio sampai besok. Kasih pop, pop, raya pop, pop.
Macam nak tengok video penuh? Saksikan video muzik Raya Pop Pop di Tonton. Pop Pop. Hai Pop.
Kalau kita sama-sama, tak ada siapa berani hadap kita. Aku, guys. Habis suruh aku apa?
Kita nak pop, 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 meriah satu kampung pop, pop, pop. Kita kasih Rio sampai besok. Kasih pop, pop, raya pop, pop, pop.
Wanita hari ini.
Dia buat salah, dia pura-pura jadi mangsa.
Play victim penyakit ataupun lari daripada masalah.
Aneka menu mi kami bawakan pada hari Selasa.
Ada mi rebus, mi bandung, mi kicap, macam-macam lah.
Bila emosi, kadang-kadang kita terlebih kongsi.
Jangan biarkan ia menguasai diri.
Bila suami culas tanggungjawab.
Apa pula hak isteri dan juga anak-anak?
Bila pasangan baran.
Alamak, ini yang kita tak nak. Ubah sikap sebelum terlambat.
Semuanya menarik di WHI TV3.
Dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Top 5 carta muzik 40 minggu ini.
Onto the foreign front. Property tycoon and hotelier Dato' Ong Beng Seng was granted permission by a court on Thursday to leave Singapore for over 2 weeks with additional bail conditions, including over $610,000 in surety. This is on top of his existing bail of $610,000, bringing his total bail to over $1.2 million. According to court documents, the 79-year-old Malaysian will be travelling to London, Boston, Miami, New York and Florence between April 28 and May 16 for work-related matters. Ong, who has bone marrow cancer, is also making the trip for medical purposes. Previously, the businessman was charged on October 4th in relation to the case involving former Transport Minister S. Iswaran, who was sentenced to 12 months jail. He faces 2 charges, including 1 count of abetting a public servant in obtaining valuables by offering Iswaran a trip to Doha with him and making arrangements for it in December 2022. 8 of Singapore's political parties contesting in the 2025 general election will deliver their campaign messages on free-to-air television and radio on April 25th and May 1st. 2 party political broadcasts from each party, once on television and once on radio, will be carried by 6 local television channels and 13 local radio stations. Parties may deliver their campaign messages in all or any of Singapore's 4 official languages, namely English, Mandarin, Malay and Tamil. 8 political parties are eligible for the broadcast as under guidelines set by the Elections Department. Only parties that field at least 6 candidates under a recognised party symbol may make political broadcasts. In other news, South Korea's prosecutors have indicted former President Moon Jae-in on corruption charges related to the employment of his son-in-law at an airline. In a statement, the Jeonju District Prosecutor's Office said Moon was indicted for corruption for receiving $150,000 in connection with facilitating the employment. It added that any salary and other financial benefits paid by the airline to the son-in-law between 2018 and 2020 were confirmed as non-legitimate salary payments but bribes intended for the president. The case adds to the political drama gripping South Korea, which is facing elections on June 3rd after Yoon Suk-yeol was stripped of his presidency for briefly imposing martial law. Moon, who served as president from 2017 to 2022, was known for pursuing engagement with North Korea, including brokering talks between Pyongyang's leader Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump during his first term. Switching to sports now, football, the national authorities have been called up to overhaul the sports ecosystem with particular focus on resolving the persistent problem of unpaid players' salaries. Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh emphasised that Malaysian football's troubles require comprehensive solutions rather than piecemeal fixes. Speaking to the media, Yeoh stressed that now is the time to look at the bigger picture and work together to rebuild a healthier and more sustainable football environment. The minister also said she has sought external expertise to address the crisis plaguing the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM's affiliate clubs, including requesting the Asian Football Confederation to conduct an assessment, the report of which has already been submitted to her. She also said her ministry will hold discussions with the FAM on how to improve the current ecosystem and not just at the national level but also within the clubs. The issue of salary arrears in the Malaysian League has garnered the attention of international news agencies, including Reuters. This follows mounting complaints, including a plea from Kelantan United interim head coach Rizal Zamri Yahya, urging the club management to resolve his and the players' unpaid wages, reportedly delayed by as long as 6 months. Still on football, the English Premier League. Arsenal kept Liverpool's title hopes on ice, but only just, as they were held to a 2-2 draw at home against Crystal Palace on Wednesday. First half goals by Jakub Kiwior and Leandro Trossard looked like enough for a lackluster Arsenal against a lively Palace side who equalised with an Eberechi Eze volley. However, there was a late twist as Palace substitute Jean-Philippe Mateta produced a superb chipped finish over Arsenal keeper David Raya in the 83rd minute. The draw left second-place Arsenal on 67 points from 34 games, with Liverpool on 79 from 33. Had Arsenal lost, the Reds would have won the title on Wednesday, but they can now seal it with 1 point against Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. And that concludes Nightline this time around. I'm Zahir, Kelvin Abdullah, and on behalf of the entire Nightline team, I'd like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to all SPM candidates on your well-deserved success. We wish you all the best in your next chapter. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.